Hello there, it's the 2nd of September. This is Renew Every Morning and I'm Paul Anderson-Walsh. I'm delighted that you're with me again. Thank you. So as you know, if you're following along with us, we're continuing in our series, Living Grace Fully. That seems to be a theme that you want to talk more and more about, so I'm very, very happy to engage with that because it's such a rich and important subject. How do we live this life now to the full? That's really the question we're asking. So I'm going to return to a very popular theme. It's one that I talk about quite a lot, and I want to see if I can perhaps give some fresh perspectives to help us to get more fully into that understanding of what it means to be living by grace. And I'm thinking about the story of the vine and the branches, and so of course I'm in John chapter 15 and verse 5. But let me step it out for you and just listen and hear what you hear. And it's always good. I always say to people when I'm teaching, always listen to scripture as though you're hearing it for the first time. And so what is it that you hear when I say this to you? I am the vine. You are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. So I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. So what a wonderful statement. Now, of course, this statement feels to those of us who have been taught about conditional spirituality, the idea of once saved could be lost, that there's an awful lot of conditions attached to this statement. But I think we just need to just go slowly again and just listen carefully to what we are hearing. So the first thing to notice is this opening statement, I am. And that's whenever you hear that, you know that's a big thing. I am the vine. Well now, we're going to look at this, what is one of the most tender but powerful images that Jesus gives us. And it's this relationship between the vine and the branches. Now, what do we know about this for sure? Well, we know this, that a branch is not alive on its own. It has no independent vitality, and that's worth bearing in mind. Cut off from the vine, it withers, but connected, it flourishes. Its life, if you like, is borrowed or channeled or coming from another source, and its fruitfulness is shared. So a few things to bear in mind. If you cut the branch off from the vine, it withers. The life it has, it's not its own, it's expressing the life of another, and it expresses the life of the other in order that the fruitfulness of that life might be shared with others. So it's a straightforward picture. Now, Jesus then says, look, abide in me and I abide in you. Now, it's really interesting, because one very simple fix to this, and this would be a lazy way out of it, but it's actually worth just saying it to you, is the word if and since are the same in the Greek. And sometimes you have to make a choice. Now, if I said to you, I am the vine and you are the branches, since you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. That would be pretty obvious, right? Now, I know later in this text it's going to say, how this text builds, but conceptually understand that. The issue is not if, the issue will always be since. Because how can you not? Now then the question is, well, hold on, that's not entirely right, because there's a kind of slightly darker part of this text. Well, it's yes, and I'll talk to you about that in a second, but that has to do with consciousness. And there is something about conscious abiding. But what I don't want you to hear is I don't want you to hear the idea of being cut off and being thrown away in the fire in a kind of eternal damnation-y kind of a way, which is the way that you may well have been taught it. So that's important. That really is a very important point. But let's build as we go. So what Jesus is saying, abide in me and I in you. He's not saying strive harder, prove yourself, go to church more often, manufacture the fruit. He's not saying that. He's just saying abide. Or just keep it really so super simple. Just remain. That's all. If you want to bear fruit, just stay here. That is the most basic way to explain the gospel to you. If you want to bear the fruit, stay right here. If you don't, okay, you don't. But hold that in your mind. So Jesus' words are very strong. I am the vine, you're the branches. If, or indeed since, you remain in me and I in you, you'll bear much fruit. If you choose to do something else, the other alternative, then you won't bear fruit. That's it. Why? Well, because apart from me, you can do nothing. Oh. Now hold on to that, because again, if you've been taught religion in a particularly unhelpful way, you might think, because you've been taught religion as a sin management system, because of you I can do nothing. I can't hang out with my friends, I can't smoke, I can't chew, and I can't cuss, and I can't run around with girls who do, and all the rest of it. No, he's saying apart from me you can't do anything. Why not? Because he's the source. That would be like saying if I was a plug charging my phone or something, that if I take the plug out of the wall socket, I can't expect the plug to function and to bring that life into my phone or my iPad or whatever it is. Why not? Because it's disconnected itself from the source. Is it still a plug? Yeah, of course it's still a plug. Is the source still there? Yeah, of course the source is still there. But they've been disconnected. And this is where you just have to be a bit careful, because our disconnection is not a physical taking away and a cutting and a separation. It's a consciousness issue. So let's have a think. In the actual teaching, there are three characters, and they're very important. We only have two of them named in our passage, but you know there are three. There's the vine. Now the vine is Christ himself, the source of our life. Number one. Number two, the branches. That's us, joined, sustained, and dependent. And the third part is the vine dresser. And the vine dresser is the Father who tends to the vine with great care. We might say the Father in the Spirit, if you will, working things out with us, pruning, cutting, just vine dressing with us. And Jesus doesn't say bear fruit. That would be a ridiculous thing for him to say. There's no command to bear fruit. His instruction is to abide. Why? Because fruit is the natural outflow of connection. That's what it happens. But the Father, as the vine dresser, has a very important role too. Because the vine dresser prunes, doesn't punish. He just makes space, not to destroy, but to really concentrate life. And so there's a lot of pruning that has to take place in each and every one of us. And even, by the way, what's pruned has some value, so just don't run away with that for a second. But the point is this: pruning is very, very painful. I goodness knows I've had enough of it. It's a kind of cutting away of what's unconscious, of what's unexamined, of what's unnecessary, the dull habits, the ego patterns, the attachments that just choke your life. The vine dresser lovingly just removes all of those from us and drains us so as the flow of the vine can reach into us and out from us directly. And so that fruit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, is not our achievement. It's just the inward life, the inner life of Christ flowing out from us. And that's literally all it does. And what we're saying is, all we have to do is to abide and remain in that innermost room where Christ is always present. That's it. That's it. There's no grasping, there's no striving. There's just the simplicity of the 46th Psalm in the 10th verse. Be still and know that I am God. That's it. That's it. That's it. Abiding in his constant, consistent presence. It's just so simple. And that's all we're after. And if we can learn to live that way, we'll have to change an awful lot of our habits, because unfortunately what happens is we don't abide very well because we're not very good at aimlessness. We're not very good at that because, and by the way, by aimlessness, I don't mean you don't do anything. I mean you don't have something in front of you that you're constantly always chasing. We're always only chasing the next thing. We're stick and carroted our way through life. But abiding is about just being present. It's not about that. It's about that effortless action. It's about literally letting the river carry you, the wind blow you, and recognizing that apart from me, you can do nothing. And trying to strive to produce fruit apart from the vine is just completely exhausting. But we do find it very difficult to abide. There's no doubt about that. Sometimes culture trains us into an achievement orientation, striving, proving. Terrified of stillness because silence seems like failure. We confuse fruit and performance. But abiding is surrender, not performance. It's letting the vine's life just flow naturally through us and to us. And so we have to think to ourselves today as we're kind of working through this conversation, how can we really live this out in real times? Well, maybe we need to do more, find more space. Perhaps we need to think about maybe taking a breath at moments during the day. If you have 3 meals a day, why don't you take 3 conscious breaths a day where you just stop and you just breathe? Abide in me, abide in me. Maybe notice what's being pruned. There are certain things that are being pruned off of us, and don't resist the pruner's shears. Just allow it to happen. And God is gently moving your distraction or your stuff that gets in the way. And then maybe there's something we're just releasing ourselves from all striving. Asking, are you trying to produce things out of pressure, or are you just abiding in God's presence? And then maybe there's this real big challenge for us to practice what we might call aimlessness, to sit quietly without any agenda, without nothing in front of us that we feel we need to chase, and just to be. We've even turned quietness and prayer into activity. And it's not an activity, it's just a presence, just a stillness, just a being here. Abiding is not passive though, it's active receptivity. A branch has to remain open to the sap for the sap to flow. So I wanted to give us a little acronym that we could maybe hang on, an acronym for abide. And here it is. A, allow God's presence to hold you. B, be still. Rest in trust. I, invite the Spirit to flow into your being. D, detach yourself from striving and distraction and fear. And E, experience the fruit of grace. Well, maybe when today as you're going about your business, just watch where you're drawn away from the abiding and bring yourself back. And maybe you could bring yourself back with a very, very simple prayer. And that simple prayer might be something as simple as this. Christ the vine, keep us rooted in you. Vinedresser, prune us with mercy. Remove what chokes your life in us. Spirit, flow through us like sap, bearing fruit we could never hope to manufacture. And teach us, O Lord, to abide, wishless, aimless, present, in your grace and in your presence, forever and ever. Amen. And then remember what it said in the Psalms, even in their old age, it bears fruit. And may that be our story too. All right, well, God bless you. Great to be with you as always, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow.